Sitting beneath the ancient Bodhi tree, the Buddha gazed at the gathering of monks and disciples around him. The golden glow of twilight painted the skies, its warmth complementing the serene wisdom that radiated from his being. Sanda, a young disciple, knelt respectfully at the Buddha's feet, his expression heavy with unspoken sorrow. "Blessed One," Sanda began hesitantly, "I am burdened by thoughts that weigh heavily on my heart." The Buddha turned his compassionate gaze to Sanda, nodding for him to speak freely. "I have a friend, Sahira," Sanda continued. "For years I trusted him as a brother. Yet lately, I hear whispers." The Buddha's expression remained calm, inviting Sanda to continue without judgment. "Those whispers," Sanda said, his voice faltering, "tell of Sahira's mockery. He speaks ill of me when I am not present." The Buddha closed his eyes for a moment, as though drawing upon the infinite well of wisdom within. "Sanda," the Buddha finally spoke, his voice steady and soothing. "Tell me, what causes you to call Sahira your friend?" Sanda lowered his eyes, the question prompting him to reflect deeply. "We have shared many joys," he said. "He has been there in moments of hardship and celebration alike." The Buddha's smile was gentle, like the first light of dawn after a long night. "Friendship is indeed a precious bond," he said. "But Sanda," the Buddha continued, his tone both curious and probing, "do you seek friendship for gain, or for the truth it reveals?" Sanda blinked in surprise, the question stirring unease and self-reflection in equal measure. "I do not know," Sanda admitted. "Perhaps I sought companionship to ease my own loneliness. Is that wrong, Blessed One?" The Buddha shook his head, his expression neither condemning nor absolving. "The reasons we seek friendship are varied, Sanda, yet motives shape the outcomes." He gestured toward the distant horizon, where the sun dipped below the forest canopy. "Consider the sun, Sanda. It gives warmth to all without seeking warmth in return. It shines, for that is its nature." Sanda nodded, though his heart remained clouded by doubt. "But what if this friend mocks me, Blessed One? What if his heart harbors ill will?" The Buddha leaned forward slightly, his gaze intent yet kind. "What another harbors within their heart is their burden, not yours." "But how?" Sanda asked, his voice trembling. "Should I respond to betrayal, Blessed One?" The Buddha straightened, his presence growing as steady as a mountain. "To understand betrayal, one must first understand the nature of attachment." "Attachment?" Sanda repeated, confusion flickering across his features. The Buddha nodded. "When we attach ourselves to the image of another's approval, we build castles on shifting sands." He took a deep breath, drawing the attention of the entire assembly. "True friendship, Sanda, is neither bought nor sold. It cannot be bartered in the marketplace of gain." The crowd murmured softly, the profound simplicity of the Buddha's words stirring reflection among all present. "Sanda," the Buddha continued, his voice carrying both compassion and conviction, "true friendship is as rare as a lotus that blooms in the desert. It is not nourished by flattery," he said. "It is not sustained by exchange. It thrives in selflessness." Sanda lowered his gaze, the weight of the Buddha's words settling upon him like a heavy blanket. "But Blessed One," he murmured, "if friendship is not based on exchange, what sustains it?" The Buddha smiled, the question signaling the beginning of Sanda's awakening. "Trust, honesty, and understanding sustain true friendship. These virtues transcend gain." He turned his gaze toward a lone sparrow perched on a nearby branch. "Consider the sparrow," he said. "It seeks food not from greed but necessity. Its song is not for gain but joy." The Buddha's words painted vivid images in the minds of his disciples, each contemplating the analogy. "Blessed One," Sanda said after a long pause, "if I let go of my attachment, will I still feel pain?" The Buddha nodded. "Pain is part of existence, Sanda. But suffering arises from resistance to what is. What should I do? Blessed One? Sanda asked, his voice barely above a whisper. The Buddha's smile returned, as serene as a still pond under the moonlight. Know the nature of your heart. Cultivate friendships based on truth, not convenience, he said. And be like the sun, giving without expecting, shining without faltering. The assembly fell silent, the gravity of the Buddha's teachings sinking into the hearts of all present. The gentle rustling of leaves was the only sound to accompany the moment of collective introspection. Sanda, for the first time since he had arrived, felt a faint sense of relief. He bowed deeply, his head touching the cool earth beneath the Buddha's feet. Blessed One, he said, his voice filled with gratitude. Your words have cleared the storm within my heart. The Buddha inclined his head, his demeanor as tranquil as ever. May your path be illuminated by wisdom, Sanda. Seek truth, and the rest will follow. As Sanda rose, the assembly began to disperse, each disciple carrying a piece of the Buddha's wisdom within them. The golden light of evening faded into the deep blue of night, yet the teachings of the Buddha shone brightly in the hearts of those who had listened. Another day dawned in the tranquil bamboo grove, where the disciples gathered for the morning teachings of the Buddha. The air was crisp, and birdsong filled the quiet spaces between the rustling leaves. Sanda, still reflecting on the previous lesson, approached the Buddha with a curious mind and a heavy heart. Blessed One, Sanda began, bowing low, your teachings have opened my eyes. Yet questions linger in my mind. The Buddha raised his serene gaze to Sanda, acknowledging his disciples' earnestness. Speak, Sanda, and let us uncover the truth together. I struggle to understand, Sanda said, his voice steady but filled with wonder. How can kindness remain unshaken by betrayal? The Buddha smiled gently, his eyes soft as the morning light. To answer this, Sanda, I shall tell you a tale. Long ago, in a village surrounded by golden fields, there lived a monk named Kassapa. Kassapa was known for his simplicity and his unwavering kindness, which touched all who met him. One day, while meditating by a river, Kassapa encountered a wanderer named Jata. Jata was weary from his travels and sought shelter. Kassapa welcomed him warmly, offering food, water, and a place to rest. Stay as long as you need, Kassapa said, his words sincere and unadorned. Grateful, Jata accepted the monk's hospitality and began to accompany Kassapa in his daily practices. Together, they walked through the fields, meditated beneath ancient trees, and shared the quiet beauty of their surroundings. Jata marveled at Kassapa's peace and simplicity, yet envy began to take root in his heart. Why do others revere him so? Jata thought, he is no different from me. The Buddha paused, his voice growing quieter as the tale deepened. Sanda and the other disciples leaned in, their attention undivided. Driven by jealousy, the Buddha continued. Jata began to mock Kassapa behind his back, calling him naive and foolish. Kassapa, however, remained unaware of Jata's words, for he lived without suspicion or malice. One day, as they sat beneath a sprawling banyan tree, Kassapa overheard Jata speaking ill of him to a passing traveler. Kassapa's heart stirred, but not with anger or sorrow. Instead, he approached Jata with the same kindness he had always shown. Brother Jata, he said, offering his portion of fruit, you seem troubled. Share your burdens with me. Jata, startled and ashamed, avoided Kassapa's gaze. I have spoken ill of you, he confessed. Your kindness feels like a mirror to my own failings. The Buddha's voice carried the weight of the lesson as he spoke to Sanda. Kassapa replied, my kindness is not a reflection of your failings but a reflection of my nature. Jata, moved by Kassapa's words and actions, began to weep. He begged forgiveness and vowed to change his ways. Kassapa embraced him, Not as a man betrayed but as a brother in need. Sanda listened intently, the tale resonating deeply within him. "Blessed One," he said, his voice filled with awe, "how can one's heart remain so pure in the face of such mockery?" The Buddha's gaze held Sanda's with unwavering clarity. "Kindness, Sanda, is like a tree bearing fruit. It gives without questioning who will partake." He gestured toward a towering tree nearby, its branches heavy with ripe fruit. "Does the tree refuse its shade to the weary traveler? Does it withhold its fruit from those who pass?" The disciples glanced at the tree, its presence a silent testament to the Buddha's words. "Kindness is not diminished by the actions of others," the Buddha continued. "It thrives because it is rooted in one's own nature." "But Blessed One," Sanda asked, his voice trembling with uncertainty, "what if kindness is met with harm? What if it invites betrayal?" The Buddha's expression softened, his presence as steadfast as a mountain. "Harm and betrayal stem from the ignorance of others, not from the flaw of kindness." He leaned forward slightly, his tone both compassionate and resolute. "Just as the sun shines upon all, kindness must not waver for fear of shadows." Sanda bowed his head, the wisdom of the Buddha's words settling into his heart like seeds in fertile soil. The disciples sat in reverent silence, the tale of Kassapa and Jata lingering in their minds like the lingering warmth of the sun. The Buddha's voice grew gentle, yet its impact remained profound. "Remember, Sanda, that kindness is not a transaction. It does not seek gain but exists for its own sake." As the morning turned to afternoon, the disciples rose to continue their day, each carrying the weight of the Buddha's teachings within their hearts. Sanda, his questions answered and his heart lighter, bowed deeply before the Buddha, grateful for the wisdom that illuminated his path. Another day unfolded in the tranquil bamboo grove, the morning light casting golden patterns through the dense foliage. The disciples gathered once more, their robes rustling gently as they bowed to the Buddha. Sanda, now calm but pensive, approached with reverence, his questions still blossoming like unopened flowers. "Blessed One," Sanda began, his voice steady, "I have reflected deeply on your words, yet clarity eludes me in full." The Buddha turned his gaze to Sanda, his expression as tranquil as the still water of a lotus pond. "Speak, Sanda," he said, his voice inviting and steady, "and let us find wisdom through your inquiry." Sanda hesitated only briefly before continuing. "I seek to understand, Blessed One," he said, "how to discern true friendship from that which is fleeting and false." The Buddha nodded, his eyes glimmering with a quiet understanding. "Sanda, your heart seeks truth, and for this, I commend you." He gestured for Sanda and the other disciples to sit, the grove falling silent save for the gentle whisper of the wind. "Let me share another story," the Buddha began, his voice carrying both the weight of wisdom and the gentleness of compassion. "Long ago, in a distant village nestled among emerald hills, there lived a farmer named Aruna. Aruna was known for his generous spirit and unwavering kindness, which drew many to his door. Among them was Dhanan, a merchant who often spoke of Aruna's virtues, praising him to all who would listen. Aruna welcomed Dhanan with open arms, trusting in the merchant's words and intentions. Together, they shared many meals, exchanged stories, and forged a bond that seemed as strong as iron. One fateful season, the rains failed to come, and the village faced a harrowing drought. The fields turned to dust, and the once bountiful streams ran dry. Aruna, despite his own hardships, offered what little he had to those in need. Dhanan, however, saw the drought as an opportunity rather than a trial. He began to demand repayment of old debts from the villagers, exploiting their desperation to amass greater wealth. Aruna, disheartened by Dhanan's actions, confronted him beneath a withered banyan tree. "Dhanan," he said, his voice tinged with sorrow. Why do you turn your back on those in need? Dhanan laughed, his tone sharp and dismissive. Kindness is for fools, Aruna. The world respects only power and wealth. Aruna's heart ached, not for himself but for the shadow that greed had cast over Dhanan's soul. True friendship, Aruna said, his voice steady despite his pain, is not built on gain but on trust and mutual respect. But Dhanan scoffed, leaving Aruna to face the drought alone. Yet Aruna, steadfast in his nature, continued to give what he could, earning the genuine love and gratitude of the villagers. The Buddha paused, allowing the weight of the story to settle over his disciples. Sanda, his brow furrowed in thought, broke the silence. Blessed One, he said, how does one find the strength to remain true when faced with such betrayal? The Buddha's gaze rested on Sanda, his expression unwavering. Strength, Sanda, comes from understanding the nature of one's own heart. He gestured to the towering trees around them, their roots deep and unshaken by the passing winds. Just as a tree draws nourishment from the earth, so too must we draw strength from our inner truth. The disciples listened intently, the Buddha's words resonating deeply within their hearts. But Blessed One, Sanda asked, his voice tinged with both curiosity and doubt, what if one's truth is met with rejection or scorn? The Buddha's smile was gentle, his demeanor unshaken. Rejection and scorn are but reflections of the ignorance of others, not of one's own truth. He leaned forward slightly, his presence as grounding as the earth beneath them. A heart rooted in sincerity and compassion cannot be swayed by the fleeting judgments of the world. Sanda bowed his head, the wisdom of the Buddha's words sinking into the depths of his heart. The grove remained silent, the disciples contemplating the lessons of Aruna and Dhanan. The Buddha's voice grew softer, yet its impact was no less profound. True friendship, Sanda, is like a lamp that shines without asking who will benefit from its light. He gestured to a lamp burning nearby, its flame steady despite the gentle breeze. Does the lamp discriminate between those who seek its glow? Does it diminish when others fail to appreciate its warmth? The disciples glanced at the lamp, its flickering flame a testament to the Buddha's words. True friendship, the Buddha continued, requires neither recognition nor reward. It exists simply because it is. As the sun reached its zenith, casting dappled shadows across the grove, the Buddha concluded his teaching. Seek not friendship that serves only gain, for such bonds are fragile and fleeting. Instead, he said, his voice steady and resolute, cultivate friendships rooted in truth, compassion, and the willingness to give without expectation. The disciples rose, their hearts filled with gratitude and resolve, each carrying the Buddha's wisdom as a guiding light on their path. Sanda, his questions answered and his spirit renewed, bowed deeply before the Buddha. Blessed One, he said, his voice filled with reverence. Your teachings have shown me the path to understanding and peace. The Buddha inclined his head, his presence as serene as the still waters of a lotus pond. May your journey be illuminated by wisdom, Sanda. Walk with truth, and all shall be well. As the disciples dispersed, the grove returned to its tranquil stillness, the echoes of the Buddha's words lingering in the hearts of those who had listened. Thank you for watching. Buddha's teachings are always with you. Subscribe to our channel and we will see you in the next video.